don't know if you can hear that or not, but it must be 7 because at the top of the hill, a gentleman who's my neighbor plays the saxophone and he plays America the Beautiful every night at 7 o'clock in honor of the first responders.
All right, well, that's a good sign. Then we should go ahead and call this meeting to order. So I would just like to welcome everyone to the May 5th, 2020 Falls Church City School Board meeting. And note that we are still meeting under the terms of the emergency ordinance, TO 20-12 that the City Council adopted on April 6th, which allows for the school board to meet electronically in order to address continuity of operations associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. Our electronic meetings will still be open to the public, and there will be an opportunity for the public to submit comments to be read at the meeting. All the meeting notices will be posted on our website as usual, fccps.org, with the agendas available in advance on board docs. So with that, I'd like to ask Ms. Goodell to call the roll, please.
Okay, Mr. Anderson,
Here.
Ms. Dimick,
Here.
Ms. Downs,
Here.
Ms. Litton,
Here.
Mr. Reitinger,
Here.
Ms. Russell,
Here.
and Mr. Webb.
Here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Will you join me for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this point, I'd like to get a motion regarding the agenda.
Move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Reitinger. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Webb. Ms. Goodell?
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Dimick,
Yes.
Ms. Downs,
Yes.
Ms. Litton,
Yep.
Mr. Reitinger,
Yes.
Ms. Russell,
Yes.
and Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll begin our meeting with public comments and requests. And I'll just note that while the state of emergency remains in effect due to COVID-19, written statements may be submitted to the clerk for dissemination to board members and will be read into the record. And that in accordance with School Board Bylaw 2.30, the time for each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. I'd like to invite folks to please send written statements to the school board clerk, Marty Goodell, at goodellm@fccps.org. And as Ms. Goodell, if we've received any public comments so far.
No, we have no public comments this evening.
Okay, thank you very much then. We'll move on now to section 3, which is recognitions and reports. And I'll just take a moment. I would just like to point out for folks that as many of you know, this is National Teacher Appreciation Week, and it's an event that's been sponsored by the National PTA since 1985, and it's an annual highlight here in Falls Church. This year's no exception to that. It's just that we're doing it a little bit differently. Our PTAs and PTSAs are working hard all week to ensure that our teachers are recognized virtually. You may have seen a variety of things out on Twitter and social media. Just this evening, I received a note that one of the local Boy Scout troops is going to be having a howl at 8 p.m. to kind of build community and connect folks who are local and within howling range. And for anyone else who's listening and is thinking about how to do it, one way that you certainly could, if you wanted to sort of acknowledge teachers on this week, would be just to send a quick note to your child or children's teachers, and let them know how much their work means to you and to your family, especially at a time like this. But while we're here and we have a minute, I'd like to take this opportunity to reflect on our teachers, our amazing teachers here in Falls Church. You know, throughout the year, our teachers are hard at work at our schools. They're educating, they're supporting, they're caring for our children to help each of our students reach their full potential. And this year was no different until March 13th, which is a Friday the 13th that I don't think anybody's going to forget anytime soon. And although much has changed in these current, which are difficult and uncertain times, one thing definitely remains the same: our teachers. They've worked tirelessly to continue to educate and support and care for our students and our kids through new means, despite being faced with the challenges of running their own households at a time like this. And so we really just want to point out that our children, our community, and our families are truly fortunate to have such great teachers, and just want to say thank you very sincerely to our teachers for their amazing work. I'm aware that there's a couple of other folks who also wanted to take a chance to make a comment. So I'll just, I guess I'll go with Ms. Downs, who I think was wanting to make a comment as well.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. Yes, of course, reiterating what you've said, but just I know people probably get tired of me talking about my 4 boys, but we have 4 boys ages 8 to 16, all with very different personalities. And, you know, our sophomore in high school started here as a kindergartner. And I'm just amazed year after year, these teachers work with all 4 of our kids, and they have different strengths and challenges. And it's just amazing to watch how much these teachers care for my children as well as the children in the community. So again, I just want to, especially now with online learning, I just wanted to do another shout out to our teachers and thank them for all their time and efforts. Thanks.
Thank you. All right. On that note, and unless somebody feels compelled to speak right now, I do see some hands. So Mr. Reidinger.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I really have very little to add to what you and Ms. Downs said. It's really undeniable that in Falls Church, we're blessed with the greatest teachers in all creation and the greatest staff in all creation. So my kids love what they're learning now. I don't think they've missed much of a beat. And I see the same in the kids of, or I should say, I virtually see the same in the kids of the people we know and our colleagues in the community. So thank you all. It's pretty amazing what you're getting done.
And Ms. Dimick.
I also want to say how grateful I am to our teachers. And really this unusual circumstance has demonstrated how versatile and flexible and dedicated they are, taking all of the in-school work and moving it online. And I am so very grateful to them and thankful for all the work they do. And I'm really sad that we can't give everyone a raise next year. So thank you. I know it's not the same as getting a raise, but thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Russell, I saw your hand as well.
So I guess just 2 things. First of all, I think we all recognize that there's obviously students out there who struggle a little bit with the remote learning. And one of the things that I just want to thank our teachers for is how dedicated they are to checking in on those students and the touching base and just making sure that those students are doing okay, if there's anything that the teachers can be doing to help facilitate things better, and really understanding and appreciating that online learning is a little bit difficult for some more than others. So that's greatly appreciated. And then one other thing, the sports boosters this year sent out an email to a bunch of different sports parents and just asked that sports parents would be sending out tweets regarding our fantastic coaches, who I guess are extension of either our teachers themselves or extension of teaching staff, because they're teaching our kids, I guess, on the field, and just recognizing that they're very devastated by the loss of the season as much as our kids are, and that we're thinking of them and appreciating them as well.
Thanks. And I just saw another hand, Ms. Lynn.
Thanks, Greg. I don't want to be left out. I just want to shout out to what an amazing job I hear the teachers doing as I listen to my kids. And especially say thank you to Miss Mim in 3rd grade, who was supposed to be getting married in 2 weeks. And I think it's been a disappointment, but she is just amazing and has handled it so well. I believe they're still getting married, but not a full wedding. So a shout out to her, and just amazing how she comes with sunshine every morning into my house over the internet. I really appreciate her and all the other teachers. They're doing a great job.
All right, awesome. And Mr. Webb has got a hand to go too.
Just wanted to wrap it all up and just say that we have some of the best teachers that
anyone can ask for. Our students are very lucky to have them. Our community is lucky to have those students, these teachers that we have educating their kids. In this particular situation that we are in right now, our teachers have not missed a step, transitioning from in the classroom to online learning, making sure that our students who, as Ms. Russell said, having some challenges with the technology are still receiving the same type of assistance that they would get if they were in the classroom, but also stepping up and just making sure that our students at all levels are receiving the best education possible. I think that's what makes Falls Church a special place, is our education system, which is manned by our teachers in the classroom. So I want to thank them as well, and look forward to, fingers crossed, having them back in the classroom and throughout our schools next year.
All right, well, that's a good note. Unless there's anybody else who wants to chime in for a moment, I'll say thank you. And yeah, Niharika, sorry, I'm just making sure it's all of us on a screen like this. I have to look carefully to make sure I'm seeing everyone. So Niharika, please go ahead.
Just as a student, I'd also like to say how grateful I am for all the teachers. I've been here for 12 years, so growing from kindergarten to now, I've seen all the teachers work so hard for all of us, and I'm truly so grateful for all they do and all the time they put in to make sure that we're successful.
All right. Well, thank you again. I'll just wrap it up by saying thank you on behalf of the board and my family as well for our wonderful teachers. And I'm very grateful as a parent and as a member. So thank you very much. So we'll move forward now to our next item on the agenda, which is a closed meeting. And I would be seeking a motion related to a closed meeting.
Is this the pursuant to? I move that pursuant to the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, I move that the board convene a closed meeting for the following purpose: to discuss or consider the identified subject matter, personnel under section 2.2-3711A1, in particular, staff appointments, staff reassignments, staff resignations, staff retirements, staff performance, staff change in position, staff termination, dependent care leave, long-term medical leave, child care leave requests, and leave of absence, and advisory committee appointments and student matters under section 2.2-3711A2, in particular, non-resident student tuition request.
Thank you, Ms. Dimick. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Reidinger. Ms. Goodell?
Yes, Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Dimick,
Yes.
Ms. Downs,
Yes.
Ms. Litton,
Yes.
Mr. Reitinger,
Yes.
Ms. Russell,
Yes.
and Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. At this point, we should drop off of this Zoom and go on to the other link, and we'll pick it up there.
Mr. Anderson, just for your information, we're going to be probably 10 minutes, and the only staff that need to come to that is Tricia. Everyone got an invite, but it would just be Tricia. So thanks.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you over there in a minute.
Okay.
I'm now looking at faces, and everybody's moved to a different box, so I've got to make sure I see everybody, and counting heads here. I think we are back in action. All right, so I would seek a motion about reconvening in open. Ms. Downs?
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I move that the board reconvene to open meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Webb. Ms. Goodell? please
Yes,
call.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Dimick,
Yes.
Ms. Downs,
Yes.
Ms. Litton,
Yes.
Mr. Reitinger,
Yes.
Ms. Russell,
Yes.
and Mr. Webb.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We are formally convened back in open session, and now I would seek a motion certifying our closed meeting. Mr. Reitinger?
Whereas the Falls Church City School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, And whereas section 2.23711B of the Code of Virginia requires a